Hey y'all, happy Wednesday. So we're going to pick up where we left off yesterday, defining cringing fear. And so we looked at cowardice, timidity, craven, now cringing fear. It's to shrink in fear. Synonyms are recoil, flinch, wince. This is really, really interesting. It's of or befitting a slave or menial position, a slave mentality. And that is stark opposite to the spirit that God has put into us. And if you'll remember, I think it was in Righteousness we read from Rick Renner's book, Dressed to Kill. And when Jesus shows up on the scene, he comes and we're slaves. We have no way out. We have no hope. We have no strength to get out from under the oppression of Satan, the rule and dominion of death. Because, of course, when man fell, Satan took it. And when we bowed our knee to Satan, instead of following and pursuing the heart of the Father, we gave Satan everything that God had given us. And so this cringing fear is befitting of a slave mentality and cringing afraid. And that is not from God. You are not a slave. You are not a slave to fear. You're not a slave to death. You're not a slave to Satan. You're not a slave to your flesh. You have been born again, set free. Jesus has given us his peace. And so we can walk in that. The last type of fear here in this 2 Timothy 1:7, he says, for God has not given us a spirit of timidity, of cowardice, craven, cringing, and fawning fear. Fawning. Seeking approval or favor, or the fear of not finding approval or favor. And so one of the examples that I have written down here is, fawning all over herself, just trying too hard. And God hasn't given us that spirit. Of course, before we come to Jesus, we can try everything on our own efforts. We can do our best, again, seeking approval, seeking favor, seeking to do it right. But in and of our own strength, it will never be right. And so that's why Jesus bequeathed to us his peace. And so when we accept that peace, it changes our connection. And no longer are we intimately tied with the spirit of death, but we are intimately connected to the spirit of life and the very essence of God himself. So those are all the things, all of that fear. That's what God did not give us. So what did he give us? But he gave us from himself a spirit of power, love, and a calm, well-balanced mind, discipline, and self-control. And so we're going to define these just like we defined those fear. And, well, I'll tie that up later. I don't want to get off track. But power here in the Greek is dunamis. It is the power which the resurrection of Christ has for instructing, reforming, elevating, and tranquilizing the soul. Tranquil is peace. Peace. So this spirit of power, it is the resurrection power of Christ and what it does to instruct, reform, elevate, and bring tranquility, peace to the soul. Power. That's the kind of spirit that God has given you. Love, agape, the Father's love for us. He, in his essence, has put that into you, not only in the ability to receive the Father's love and accept his love, but to give that as well. And you know as well as I know that we can't give anything that we don't have. And we'll pick up here tomorrow. I'll see you then. Bye, y'all.